Hello everyone, my name is AZZATRU, how are you, and welcome to another Star Wars Battlefront 2 video of mine. And in this video I'm going to be doing a topical video on content I'd like to see in the next few months come to Battlefront 2. With the recent roadmap not giving us a lot of confirmed content, and DICE loosely talking about what we could sort of expect, I thought I'd share what types of content I would personally like to see in the near future, and the prioritisation of them. We know we are going to be getting Kamino or Naboo for capital supremacy in the next update, and heroes versus villains rules change, including the removal of the target system. And then in June, the final Clone Wars map will be added to capital supremacy, but we don't know anything else in terms of confirmed content coming in these months or beyond. According to Ben, the community manager, more content will be added to the roadmap over time, just like last time when the reinforcements were added at a later date, but like I said, we're still awaiting details on future content. The bulk of the past 6 to 8 months of content has been heroes, and I think at least for this moment in time, I'm satisfied with the heroes that have been added. Obi-Wan, Anakin, Grievous and Dooku are some of my favourite characters in Star Wars, and I could go a few months without a new hero. Meanwhile, other areas of the game that we use more has not received as much new stuff. Dennis, the design director, agrees also. When stating the reason behind adding heroes first before anything else, he also said they're going to be shifting their focus onto new planets, reinforcements and more. This was just earlier in April. Okay, so moving on to what I'd like to see in the game. The number one thing I want to see added as content soon are Trooper blasters. There has been no new Trooper class blasters added post-launch, and DICE know we want them. They've said in recent weeks that they know they should be coming to the game, and new weapons were promised post-launch. I'm sure DICE were working on some before the progression system fiasco, and that just changed everything. However, we really need at least one more weapon per trooper class soon, otherwise I feel like there's going to be a lot of people wanting to leave the game. Some of the weapons in the trooper classes are barely used by anyone, and it's boring using the same set of weapons for over a year. Adding attachments to the base weapons would be something I'd like to see, but I'd rather have new weapons first if it's going to take away from that, because, you know, the start weapons aren't so great, to be honest. They can't just port over and copy and paste weapons from the previous game because of how different the Frostbite engine is without additional work, and this takes away work from completely new and unique weapons that we've not seen before in the game. But something like the bow rifle, the DL-18, the DT-29 from the last game would be nice and unique, but I'd also like to see brand new weapons that we've not seen before. That would be really cool. I also think people forget how challenging it can be to introduce new weapons, especially multiple weapons at the same time in terms of balancing. They need to be fun to make it worth using, but also not overpowered and ruin the game's meta and cause a whole host of changes that need to be addressed. Jay, a community manager, did mention that they know weapons are wanted and discussions are ongoing. The next content I want to see more of is reinforcements. I'll be honest, before the Infiltrator class released, I did not use the reinforcements much. The Flame Troopers just didn't have the range. Wookiees, well, I didn't want to use any of those on Clone Wars era maps except for Kashyyyk, and a lot of the rest were just too slow and a waste of battle points for my playstyle. However, capital supremacy gave some like the Jet Trooper a new lease of life, and the Commando Droid and ARC Trooper are just so much fun. They're a fantastic addition to Battlefront 2. It finally felt good to have something to rank up and fun to use that was just not a hero who is part of the game for a limited time, whether you have enough battle points and you have a few minutes with them before they die, or you play a special game mode like Heroes versus Villains. There are so many types of reinforcements they could introduce, and like Dennis has said, it appears more are being worked on. Droidekas and Clone Commandos are a must, but I'd be open to anything else in the other eras as long as they're fun and unique, like the ARC Troopers and the BX Commando Droids. The Clone Commandos are still in the files to an extent with that DC-17M rifle, but it's possible that this was just left over from work they were doing on Commandos before ARC Troopers and may not come out. difficult to see the future is. DICE are totally aware of the kinds of characters we want as reinforcements. Most of the people making this game are super Star Wars fans, and I trust them to bring fantastic additions just like the BX and ARCs in the future. After more reinforcements, I really want to see a new planet. Since Crate came out a month after the game's launch, we've only had 2 new planets and 3 brand new maps, technically with Geonosis having 2 added to the game. Jabba's and the Administrator Palace maps from Bespin and Tatooine were both from the previous game, and the Ewok Hunt map is literally just a reused version of the Survivors of Endor map from the last game, but it's designed for the Ewok Hunt gameplay and nothing else, and can't be used for actual other game modes. A new planet is needed, and I'd love to see Coruscant realised in the Frostbite engine more than any other Star Wars location. As I've mentioned before, they just can't port over maps. The Administrator's Palace map took some time to do. As much as I'd like to see the return of Salus with the Pipelines map or Scarif in Battlefront 2, a new planet would be my preferred choice of content. I'd also like to see maps beyond the larger scale so we can play Galactic Assault or even Capital Supremacy on them, and having a section of that map for smaller modes like Heroes vs Villains. Kessel is a good map, but it was only made for smaller modes like Extraction and Heroes vs Villains, and I'd assume many more people prefer to play the larger modes like Capital Supremacy and Galactic Assault over the smaller ones like Strike. Moving on to another piece of content I think needs to be addressed fairly soon and should be a high priority for DICE, probably more so than planets because they won't take as long to make. There needs to be trooper skins every month or so. Most players play majority of the time as one of the 4 trooper classes. Hero skins are amazing, but you don't play as heroes as often, and they cost more typically. You don't really get your value for your money on the hero skins as opposed to trooper skins. And whilst we've had several cool clone skins introduced in the last few months, no new appearances have been added to any of the other factions for around 12 months. Not to mention the droids have had no skins that you can purchase, despite Dennis tweeting out months ago that he would like to see this. The faction I believe that needs the most skins right now is the Empire. You can't customize your Stormtrooper. How insane is that? So many Stormtrooper skins aren't in the game, which they should be, just like the previous game. The Rebels also could do with some as well. I think more Trooper skins are needed because, like I said, you spend most of the time playing as a Trooper. Not everyone wants to play the Clone Wars era, believe it or not. Some people prefer the original trilogy, or even the sequel trilogy eras to the prequel era, and you want people to have options for their character, and there hasn't been anything added for almost a year. Also, of course, I'd like to see new hero skins for Luke, Maul, and others because they're needed, but I'm just saying we should have some new trooper skins as there hasn't been any for about a year. So that's my thoughts on what I'd like to see come to Battlefront 2 in the next few months or so. Just my personal opinion. I know some people would say they want heroes over other stuff, but that's just me. I'm satisfied with some of the parts of the game right now, and I could wait a few more months if we do get stuff I've mentioned in this video before we do get more heroes, for example. But be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd be really interested to see what your thoughts are, what you agree and disagree with. And if you are new around here and haven't checked out my videos before, be sure to subscribe and turn the notification on so you don't miss any videos like this. And be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Check out any of the 2 previous videos on screen if you did miss them, and I shall see you all in my next Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. Goodbye.